What's up, everybody? It's Vicious here, and we have two videos that I think I want to go through today. My gaming chops uploaded another video. I already gave it a thumbs down because this dude's just not been spot on about this game whatsoever. But he's put up a video about Ninja Gaiden 4's difficulty, and I don't think that a video about difficulty in Ninja Gaiden needs to be 1 hour long. I definitely understand like getting into a rabbit hole and like going on and on and on and talking forever about something, but like I think that I want to try and skip around this video once I get the point and the gist of like what this person is saying. I think I'm going to go to another video that I got planned to show off for you guys. Again, this video is from my gaming chops, just being fair. And yep, let's go.
Is Ninja Gaiden 4 going to be much easier compared to past entries in the series? Well, I don't know. I haven't played it since it hasn't come out yet. Just wait until its release on October 21st to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
That was a joke.
I know this is a common question and concern that people have, so let's talk about it. While I haven't played the game yet, which includes a demo, by analyzing what we've learned from interviews, previews, articles, and
hope that demo comes out soon, by the way.
Comparing that to past games, we can reasonably determine where Ninja Gaiden 4 will rank in difficulty in comparison to the past titles. So let's do that. Now, keep in mind, this question and answer is going to vary depending on who's asking it. Veteran fans, Itagaki fanboys, and new fans are all going to have different perspectives on this. What might not be a problem to one group could be a problem to another. I will explain that nuance while answering this question. To get my bias out of the way, I fall under the veteran fan and not an Itagaki fanboy, although I do respect his work and I do miss his influence in Team Ninja, for better or for worse. Well, for the most part. It is because of him that we have this amazing franchise, and he truly will always be the soul of Ninja Gaiden, no matter who makes the games from now on. And I bring that up because the truth is, Ninja Gaiden can go on without him, as proven by Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which may not have been a success and hated by many people for very understandable reasons. If you take the time to dive into the game, you'll find that it actually can be a really fun and rewarding experience. Ninja Gaiden 4 will be the real test though, because it's been over a decade.
Sorry, I want to add that I agree with that.
Since Ninja Gaiden 3, and there's a brand new team working on it. So, can a Ninja Gaiden game made in this way retain the Ninja Gaiden difficulty that we all know and love? Let's find out.
You know, I think it's very disingenuous to say, like, we all know and love. Like, I get the phrase, but it just seems, like, very disingenuous because, like, don't push that on to all of us. Like, I didn't enjoy Ninja Gaiden 1 at all. Like, I thought that game was, like, overly difficult. And I've mentioned this quite a few times. Like, and I'm not going through every single chapter. Like, that's ridiculous. And it's an hour-long video. But anyway, yeah, so Ninja Gaiden 1... I've mentioned on here plenty of times. It happens in every Ninja Gaiden game past, you know, the reboot series or like the sequel series, Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3. You'll start attacking an enemy and you'll get attacked by other enemies. And sometimes they'll both hit you at the same time. Sometimes it's more than two. Sometimes it's three enemies hitting you at once. And there's really no, you know, way to get out of it. You know, there's no reversal situation. You could time the reversal wrong because you're getting hit by multiple people, and then like because you time it wrong, you'll get hit a lot and they'll take a lot of life because Ninja Gaiden, they don't really mess around with the enemies. They do a lot of damage to you. But yeah, did video/article previews find Ninja Gaiden 4 hard? I mean, I already know the answer to this. Most of them didn't, but you know, I was planning on saving this to the end. But there's a video of somebody playing on Master Ninja difficulty, and I don't think that's like well circulated, and it looked really hard to me.
Let's hear from people that did play this game. We'll start with many articles and what they had to say about the difficulty. Combat can feel relentlessly fast, but it's far from a button masher. You've got plenty of tools in your kit. But you still need to carefully weigh up when to go on the offensive. Ninja Gaiden 4, like other games in the series, is hard. It's really hard. Actually, even on the default normal difficulty. Even basic runs will punish you for careless play, and you don't have nearly as much health as you might think. Knowing when to play defensive with guards and counters is paramount to success and achieving high ranks in stages. In true Platinum Games fashion, mastery is not only encouraged, but it's often outright necessary. Nowhere is this more true than in Ninja Gaiden 4's boss fights. Bosses will largely power through your attacks and usually only stagger when hit with carefully timed Blood Raven moves. One slip up, even on normal difficulty, can cost you a significant chunk of your health bar. All enemies, even those that have been dismembered, are a threat. It forces you to be on alert at all times. Think about how to most efficiently dispense your foes and consider engagement in the context of your environment and enemy types being thrown at you. These systems are still present in Ninja Gaiden 4, only with a bit more fanfare about them. I've always loved Bayonetta's Witch Time, but there's something odd about seeing a brief slowdown when you execute a perfect dodge in Ninja Gaiden 4. Parries have a similar
it's like it should have always been there.
That looks cool, but I do feel it takes away from the unmatched power fantasy that comes from a perfect parry immediately into a swift execution in Ninja Gaiden Black or Ninja Gaiden 2. It feels as though the game is training. Cool, but I do feel
to say parries have a similar short freeze frame effect that looks cool, but I feel like it does take unmatched power fantasy that comes from perfect parry immediately into a swift execution Ninja Gaiden Black or Ninja Gaiden 2. I don't like that assessment. Like, go play Ninja Gaiden 2 right now and do a perfect parry. Wait, that's what you're saying, right? Comes from a perfect parry immediately into a swift execution. Yeah, do a perfect parry on Ninja Gaiden 2 and look at a perfect parry on Ninja Gaiden 4 and tell me which one looks more powerful visually, because a perfect parry in Ninja Gaiden 2 and 1 is just simply Ryu attacking. He gets like an iframe and does like an attack. Like, he'll either launch the enemy or he'll do an attack that has an iframe or some shit, and he'll be able to attack them back, which isn't good for some enemies because sometimes Ryu does that iframe parry shit and they'll attack him more anyway because he doesn't have enough hit stun on the weapon he's using.
Takes away from the unmatched power fantasy.
So I think that's kind of bunk.
Immediately into a swift execution in Ninja Gaiden.
It's not designed well, is what I'm trying to say.
It feels as though
the original
game is training you, refining your senses to match the pace and pressure of the world. It's plenty of options for aiding players who want less of a challenge, while it's able to clear life essence and essence of it will still be there. This game, Ninja Gaiden, that means that normal difficulty will be challenging. Enemies that are delimbed are still a threat, just like in past games, and bosses are no joke. So, for new fans watching this, if you've never played a Ninja Gaiden game before, just know that the growing pains will still be there. This game is a combination of the same mechanics from past iterations combined with new stuff. In some ways, this game could be the hardest for new fans to play because there's maybe too much to learn compared to previous entries. For example, you can now use the guillotine throw in mid-air and even glide now to balance.
That's not really like a lot. I think this dude's confidence in people playing games is like really low. Like, you know what? I kind of understand it, but honestly, it's really not that much new stuff. Like, the Blood Raven thing and the Gleam mode thing is like probably like the most mental stacking, like, extreme thing that they got, but that's not even like a big thing. It's like when the enemy starts blocking, use Blood Raven techniques, or use Blood Raven techniques to do extra damage. Like, that's easy. Like if people can use Nero and Devil May Cry 4 and rev up his Red Queen, they can use Blood Raven techniques.
This, at least the game includes a hero mode and the accessibility options that are designed to help newer players get better at Ninja Gaiden 4. More on this later. For returning fans, those articles had some interesting tidbits, like that hard mode and especially Master Ninja will kick your ass. Someone even said it feels impossible, as it should be. What's excellent is that the returning items from Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden help balance out the insane difficulty.
I really hate the dichotomy that this dude presents, right? So like on one hand, it's like Ninja Gaiden needs to be super hard. On the other hand, you need items to heal yourself to be able to get through the game. So which is it? Are you bad enough to, need the items, or are you too good that you don't need the items and you just play through any difficulty because you've mastered how good the game is, right? I mean, master how good the game is. You've mastered playing the game, and the game is like mechanically sound enough that it's, for people to master easily. I just don't understand it.
Find that to be on normal or Master Ninja. According to the devs, even if the first chapters are easy, fans.
Hold on, that's that Ninja Gaiden shit that I was talking about. Look,
like that hard mode, and especially Master Ninja will help balance out the.
All right, so he hit him. All right, cool. Check this out.
Whether you find that to be on
all right, he healed. All right, he missed. Now, in any normal game, it's like get an attack or two off and then dodge. Look what happens here. That motherfucker immediately started hitting. There's no hit stun, and he got hit.
To the devs, even if the first chapters are easier compared to past entries, the game is only going to ramp up and become harder as you progress through the campaign. As a veteran fan, that's what I want to hear. Despite being vague at times, at least when they did explain certain things, they sounded pretty good. Now let's move on to what people said in the video previews.
The longer the stagger window too, so there's a little bit of a timing game there where it's like, you can just immediately
played on normal. I went to the hardest difficulty. So I don't know if it's like a skill thing or if it's like I had to have better equipment to fight him thing. We'll find out with the full game. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how this balances out for the hardcore crowd, because Ninja Gaiden 1 Black and Ninja Gaiden 2 OG are considered like great hard action games. And then Sigma famously softened the blow.
Yeah.
As we debated on Duke with our own audience, Black kind of finds itself a little bit in between in some stretches of the game where it's a little more difficult, but it's also
safe, kind of no risks involved kind of style where I have to like really focus on defense and making sure that I'm not leaving myself open to any kind of counterattack, because when I felt like
described Master Ninja is exactly how it worked in past iterations, although skilled players don't have to be as cautious as he described. During my run in Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge on Master Ninja, I'm trying all kinds of crazy stuff, but for 90% of people, this will most likely be the case. Either way, regardless if normal is too easy and some of the BS is gone, you can still expect Master Ninja to be comparable to past games, even if it might not be as hard. Just from going through all the media coverage, it's becoming clear what players should expect in Ninja Gaiden 4, but this is only the first step in answering this question, because we got even more stuff to talk about. Then they're fine. I have been coming to terms with the reality that things can't go back to the way they were, and games now have to appeal to more players than ever before. Let's hope it doesn't make similar mistakes as the original release of Ninja Gaiden 3.
I really wish he would stop talking about original Ninja Gaiden 3. It's nothing like original Ninja Gaiden 3. It's multiple playable characters. One character has multiple weapons. The other character has a playstyle that can be altered using basically a stance. Now, is that stance kind of like inferior to the Blood Raven techniques? I would say so, just off of what I've seen. Like, there's a lot less visual flair, but, who cares?
If you don't optimize for making as much money as possible, moves should be cheaper and farming for money should be easy. If you just play the game as intended, then through playing the easier difficulty settings, there's no reason to not have a strong grasp on how to farm enemies
Man,
and to earn
this shit
enough
does
money
not look
once
fun
you
to
start
me.
playing the campaign on harder difficulty settings. Now, is it annoying that you have to do that early on? Sure. But that's how Ninja Gaiden works. It's not a bad system, it just challenges the player a little more, like with other games that have similar features. Also, if a player is still having issues in Master Ninja,
I hated
then
this
the
fight.
next option is to play the Ninja Trials and keep practicing. The game is also going to have a training mode, which will further help players improve their skills. It is
Awesome.
also important to keep in mind that now that you have to purchase separate moves per weapon, they'll have to be drastically lower in price, or they'll have to increase how much money you get to balance things out. So either way, I imagine it should be cheaper to get the core moves. According to one interview, they said that certain moves might be flashier than others. In other words, a win more type of thing. So just like in previous games where you only use a handful of moves to complete the game, the same applies here. Only now, you only have to pay for what you need. Fucking commercials. The only way this becomes an issue is if for some reason a crucial move is too expensive to purchase
All right, I think that's really
with the
unimportant to
meters.
talk
Instead,
about.
just focus on when you want to use the powerful attacks. But since they added back essence, you also have to manage
Bro,
that
look how
as
cool
well.
this looks.
This includes choosing to absorb the essence to charge your UTs or grabbing it at the end of the battle to restore your health. So there are many things you have to keep track of right now because we got footage from Gamescom, that footage of Master Ninja, and the
Oh, he did go over the
to
Master
look at.
Ninja footage,
So
huh?
lots of things to
Okay.
analyze. Considering how much there is, it would take several videos to go through all of it. So instead, I want to cover small sections from each that demonstrate the game too easy because guillotine throwing people off ledges has been a thing since Ninja Gaiden. Although I will admit, it seems easier now than it ever has been to pull this off. During this last
Yeah,
part,
'cause
even
there's,
the
like,
bullets deal a ton
bridge.
of damage to Ryu and nearly kill him. The
Yeah.
enemies are again
That's hard.
super aggressive. It is weird.
That's
though,
annoyingly
that
hard.
not a lot of
That's
enemies-
Ninja Gaiden hard, actually. So we don't even need to show the other video. This guy's going over the footage. This is Ninja Gaiden hard right here. This dude got shot, and there was like, I don't know if you can perfect dodge or parry the bullets. I would assume not, but there's not really ever been like a good way to deal with an enemy with a machine gun on Ninja Gaiden besides like trying to run around and slide as much as you can and jump. And look what happened to Ryu right there, right?
Although I will admit,
Look
it
at this
seems
shit.
easier now than it ever has been to pull this off. During this last
Oh,
part,
damn.
even the bullets deal a ton of
He's
damage
blocking.
to Ryu and nearly kill him. The enemies are again super aggressive. It is weird though that there are not a lot of enemies on screen compared to normal difficulty, and of course compared to the Master Ninja difficulty for Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden.
Well, when you ramp up the AI on an enemy, you don't need to have like 100 enemies on the screen. You don't even need to have 7. I've seen like 6 enemies at one point on the screen on Ninja Gaiden 4 during like some demo playthrough. And, you know, the AI was pretty cool. It was competent. Some of them would block, some of them would do different things, etc., like how they would in Ninja Gaiden. It looked like Ninja Gaiden to me. But the difference is I didn't see like, you know, like old Ninja Gaiden on normal difficulty to have like 4 enemies attacking you all at one time, like, and not have any good defensive mechanics. Like, the thing is about Ninja Gaiden 4, there's a lot of good defensive mechanics, and that's good. Like, why would you make a game where there's no good defensive mechanics? Like, you're just supposed to be punished for your game not being adequate enough to like deal with what's thrown at the player. That's ridiculous.
3. To be fair, it's hard to judge this from a small clip, and according to the interview, there will be a lot of enemies and they will overwhelm you. What I can conclude from watching
Look at
this
this.
short
Look at
clip
this.
of Master Ninja, unless the player was awful, Master Ninja is going to be a challenge, and the devs weren't lying
Blocking.
when describing how Master Ninja works. Now let's move on by
Look at this, bro. Like, how could you, like, there shouldn't be any doubt anymore. Like, I don't know how much more footage you need to see. Let's look at that again without him talking so much, right? All right, so this enemy right here, this is Ryu, right? He's blocked everything Ryu's done. Ryu needed to do gleaming stance, right? Using this meter. Ryu's gleaming stance, I think, uses more meter than Blood Raven techniques, by the way. Look at this. All right, he uppercutted him. Now he's doing a combo to him. This enemy is still black, highlighted black, basically, meaning that you still have to hit them with gleaming attacks. Otherwise, your attack won't work, is how I interpret it, right? Bam, bam. Okay, he's getting hit in the middle of this. He shouldn't have got hit at all, but this enemy jumped up to start attacking him, which I don't remember that being a thing in other Ninja Gaiden games, which again is one of the reasons why this Ninja Gaiden is more intuitive and interesting than the other ones, because the other ones, there's ways to cheap enemies out. And you see it on My Gaming Chops' channel. You'll see him get attacked, or I don't know what footage he's looking at, maybe someone else's. You'll see Ryu get attacked and shot at and all this shit, and there's not really anything that you could do about that, right? But there's stuff that you could do in this game, and there's ways to break guard. You know, if you play Ninja Gaiden right now and you try and break an enemy's guard, you're going to run out of combo and somebody's going to attack you, throw you, blow you up. But in this game, it's like, okay, I hit them with a resource that I needed to work for, and now I'm going to attack the other enemy. You know, because again, in Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3, they don't jump up with you. They just they're pre-programmed to look at you on the ground and look at you in the air and be like, I need to go up to him and start attacking him. But in this game, they actually move with you, which is good. That's impressive. And look at this. Ryu started attacking him, and just like in old Ninja Gaiden games, like when the hit stun just isn't enough, like the enemy will get wise to it and start blocking everything. And Ryu is now is now out of gleaming meter. So now he has to fight him a different way. He just did a perfect dodge. I think that was a perfect dodge in the air. I think he is just like riding off the iframes. And then he has to dodge again. He's getting shot at this entire time. Okay, that was just a regular guard right there. It wasn't perfect. Okay, he had to do a perfect dodge. And after the perfect dodge, it wasn't sweet. You see that? The iframe stopped. He tried to do something else probably. And then look at all that damage. That's a lot of damage. If he gets hit, look at where he got hit, right? So how much damage was that exactly? We're at 3723. All right, let's look. His life is here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 nodes. Ooh, he got hit twice. He got hit twice. And it went down 1, 2, 3. More than 3 nodes, bro. He's at his 4th node here. He was right here and he was here. He got hit twice. What is the problem? There's your difficulty. You should just shut up. You know what I mean? You want more enemies on the screen when they could do this?
At the gameplay footage shown at Gamescom 2025.
Insane.
Before we get to the footage, I observed that they kept panning to people losing to the boss or other enemies while playing the demo, as the people behind this game were talking and answering questions from the IGN lady. I feel like that was done on purpose to let people know that yes, this game is hard. See, people are struggling. Without any context, I can't make a determination about the game's difficulty from just watching that footage. Okay, let's move on to the gameplay footage. So the assassin tools are a great example of how purchasing moves will work in this game. I think that each weapon in this arsenal is a different move you can purchase. I can't think of a better explanation at this time. Since this is
this weapon is so cool to me, by the way.
Modify the game to showcase more stuff, it should be reasonable to unlock most of the main moves for your weapons at this point. And I conclude that because I noticed that Yakumo has full access to all of his weapons, and they all have a nice variety of moves they can use which indicates that you can purchase these by this point. Hopefully this puts to rest the potential problem that purchasing moves might cause an issue, at least from making the game too difficult. The other extreme can't be confirmed. They said later on that the enemies are difficult, but the player just makes them look easy because they're talented. As someone who has watched Master and Ultimate Ninja walkthroughs, I can attest to what
this looks so boring. Look at this. Did you see that? That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. This dude's like, I've watched these Master Ninja playthroughs. Like, bro, look at this. If that was Master Ninja, what I just seen, that was boring and it was unintuitive. Like, he cannot engage with the enemies. The enemies are engaging with him as much as they possibly can, or as much as the code will allow them to. And he's just trying to charge up and cheap them out, right? There's no real good combat going on here. You know, that was skillful. I'm not saying that this person that's playing isn't skillful for doing what they just did right there. But my goodness gracious, bro. Like, look at this. What a exciting boss fight. Now look at this.
Clip. We can see Yakumo performing a guillotine throw in midair. A new mechanic that builds on what came before. There's going to be more of an emphasis of in-air combat than in previous games. The grappling hook mechanic is another example of this. Another example of new complexity
Look
into
at this.
the combat that could make the game difficult.
Enemy jumping after you.
Or maybe it'll just trivialize combat. I don't know yet. In this part here, you can see many
Trivialize.
indicators to help the players know when attacks are coming and from who. Thankfully, most of the stuff can be turned off if you're concerned about it making the game too easy. This only exists for new players.
I don't care about that at all. I mean, I care about that because it's nice, but
parts where
it's
the
just so silly.
Becomes an obstacle itself, which is not a new concept for this series, although it didn't really exist in Ninja Gaiden 3. This feels more like something in Ninja Gaiden Black and a little from Ninja Gaiden 2. Here you have to destroy the
you gotta watch this section.
Turn off the lasers, which is kind of
one
part in the airship mission in Ninja Gaiden 2.
All right,
Only
bro.
that was, I believe Ninja Gaiden 3 was the first game to allow you to go from a Zuno drop directly into a UT. So more examples of how this game plays like Ninja Gaiden 3. This next section is a great example that shows why the perfect dodge is not as bad as many think. Here it creates an opening to allow Yakumo to use the Blood Raven attack. By the way,
he was complaining about this shit.
And all the gameplay that I've seen up to this point, Yakumo spams the Blood Raven attacks for all the different weapons, which again proves how vital it is to use it while playing the game.
It's just variety.
Using it is important. You also have to pay attention to when the player uses the move. You have to manage your meters properly and be able to fight without the move for a bit. In this gameplay footage, right after Yakumo uses the Blood Raven attack, it emptied the meter, so the player had to rely on other means for a few seconds while it recharged.
Yes.
In this case, they bought time
meter management
weapons and eventually were able to use the Blood Raven attacks again. I wonder if the passive recharge is slower on harder difficulty settings.
I hope
Just
not.
Food for thought.
I hope not. That's stupid.
Clip.
Why would it take longer when enemies are, there's a direct link from being able to break their guard to using the techniques in general.
See Yakumo abusing the flying swallow technique just like how you could in past games. In this case, the enemy didn't block it, but in past footage I've seen them block it. By the way, some of the enemies look like the ones from the Master Ninja gameplay. They stated that this footage takes place in the middle of the game, so assuming this is normal or hard difficulty, it further validates the claim on how Master
I can't wait to play
Ninja
this again.
works.
Look at this, blocking in mid-air.
Uses the perfect dodge to create an opening to instead absorb the blood essence and use a UT.
That
so
dodge was so cool.
Of how the perfect dodge can create an opening to use a stronger attack depending on the situation. This is how Ninja Gaiden games have played in.
Alright, I'm ending this video. Like, it's gone on long enough. I'm going to upload some Marvel Tokon footage, but I think we basically confirmed that everything this guy's been talking about is just kind of like inconsequential and negligible.